Tonight on Prime Business, Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors warns serious challenges with the supply of dollars must be addressed to avoid fuel price hike at the pumps.
When you thoroughly look at the issues, you realize that the issue really is not even just the fact that there's a total absence of liquidity, but the pricing does not effectively match that liquidity.
Veterinary Services Department appeals for operational funds to help fight the bird flu disease.
We don't have any operational fund that has been disbursed to the regional veterinary officer to carry out this disinfection. I and my staff, we are using our own monies.
Plus, economist Professor Peter Corte is urging more investment in large-scale commercial farming to boost agriculture, which contributed significantly to economic growth in the first quarter of the year.
The next step for me to see is support to some selected large-scale commercial farmers who will pull the small-scale farmers along the value chain, like we find in the areas of blue skies, for instance.
I am Beverly Broohm. Please stay for the details. Hello and welcome. The Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors has warned that there are serious challenges with supply of dollars that must be addressed to avoid fuel prices hike at the pump. A recent report by Bloomberg said that Ghana may experience a shortage in fuel supply due to dwindling forex reserves. However, the National Petroleum Authority has assured there are adequate measures to prevent a shortfall. There is more in the following report.
In recent times, fuel prices have seen increases at the pumps, burdening consumers. Reports by Bloomberg suggesting that Ghana's forex reserves are dwindling and that could lead to fuel shortage alarmed industry watchers. Speaking to journalists via Zoom, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senor Hosi, stated that the foreign exchange challenges must be addressed.
Definitely, when demand outstrips supply, prices go up. That's the first thing that the market will show. Now, we have a situation where there's a lot of efforts to sort of stagger demand in a way that will negatively impact prices. And maybe that's where the problem is. While we sometimes see there's a challenge with supply from the commercial banks, when you thoroughly look at the issues, you realize that the issue really is not even just the fact that there's a total absence of liquidity, but the pricing does not effectively match that liquidity.
According to Bloomberg, the monthly fuel import bill for Ghana jumped to $450 million in May from $250 million in January. Making suggestions, Mr. Hosi stressed that it was imperative for the Bank of Ghana to ensure consistent supply of the dollar.
So the central bank has a responsibility from a policy side, but operationally, it is not a sole entity responsible to deliver the effects to the oil and gas sector. So now we need $450 million thereabout on a monthly basis. The central bank has a responsibility to make sure that the market can supply that, but it hasn't got a responsibility to be the one supplying it. So if the central bank has to scale down and is unable to actually supply or provide that 450 million on its own, there are no problems provided the general market can deliver that. So do we have, to answer your question more directly, if the central bank does not extend or expand its supply provision under its current BDC auction? Would there be a shortage? Not necessarily. But that can be the case if its absence in the market is not effectively compensated by supply coming from the open or commercial banks. That is when you're actually going to have a crisis. So there must be a balance. A central bank, in effect, is supposed to be a point of almost last resort, or trying to make sure it uses its intervention to stabilize any speculation that may be happening in the market at any given point in time.
Meanwhile, energy expert Dr. Yusuf Suleiman is calling for a collaboration between all stakeholders in the petroleum sector to design a workable solution that will help mitigate the impact of petroleum price hikes on the consumer.
We always mention that if you look at what the consumer pays at the pump, three things are accountable for that. One will be the taxes, the other one will be the exchange rates, and then the prevailing prices in the global space or within the global space. We thought that prevailing prices, like crude oil prices within the global space, was the wild card here. Now it is now emerging that I think the exchange rate that we have been talking about is becoming also a serious bottleneck. Yeah, so I think consumers should have some cause to worry because the BDC, they just have so much they can do. They have done so well within the years, but the global dynamics that is unfolding could have the potential to overpower them. And what are the global dynamics? We have a lot of disruptions in supply chain, and Russian-Ukraine war has just come to exacerbate the situation. So should it come to a point that, the BDCs they lost the capability of getting product into the country, that is going to become very difficult. So they could have even the dollar supply, but the supply chain, the bottleneck within the space, outside space, could still, impede the ability to be able to bring in finished product. But over the years, I think they did creditably well, and they deserve some commendation. But I think there are just so much they can do, So yes, consumers should be worried, but I think we should just hold our gun and just make sure that we stand and watch, see what the BDCs, the central bank, and NPA, they can galvanize their forces together to forestall any potential fuel shortages.
Away from that, the Veterinary Services Department is appealing for operational funds to help fight the bird flu disease in the country. According to the department, it would need more logistical support to control the spread of the disease. Deputy Director of the Veterinary Services Department, Dr. Joseph Kofi Abu, who spoke to Joy Business, warned the outbreak will be much more severe if the department is not supported.
Well, obviously, these are challenging times for the poultry farmers. They have to grapple with the high cost of operating as well. And so are you saying there's nothing that can be done in terms of reducing or reviewing the charges? Because I've heard them also say...
No, we don't charge. We are not charging them a penny.
You're not charging them a penny?
We charge them not. We collect nothing from them. We give them the disinfectant free. Even, we go to the farms and most farmers don't give us even water. So I'm not sure they are talking about the high cost of the operation, but they are talking about us giving them disinfectant and not coming back to them. But, under the circumstances, veterinary services is doing its best to control and stop the spread of the disease. As of now, we don't have any operational fund that has been disbursed to the regional veterinary officer to carry out this disinfection. I and my staff, we are using our own monies to trek to farms day and night and work and come back and bring the results.
But I want us to, in the next 1 minute, talk about how well we are doing in fighting the outbreak of the bird flu. Are we making progress?
Okay. Yeah, the outbreak started in July 2021, precisely 8th July. And as of today, 129 farms affected. In 2021, 66 farms were affected, and these farmers who were due for compensation have been compensated. As of today, 63 farms are affected in 2022. If we look at the trend, And in 2021, in January, we had 25 outbreaks. In February, we had 19. In March, 1. In April, nothing. So from March to April, we knew we had controlled the disease. But in May, we had 3 outbreaks in Greater Accra. In June, we have 15, and there are still some pending at the laboratory. Meaning that the disease is coming back.
While the Chief Executive Officer of the Agri-Business Chamber, Anthony Morrison, is concerned the poultry industry is collapsing, he's calling for special attention to revive it.
The current situation on the agriculture level is not the best. We need to make sure that the industry that has the largest employment avenue for the sector is adequately catered for. We have also been talking to some other stakeholders to see how we can also support in this engagement. Particularly, I'm worried about the fact that farmers who have been given the medication or the vaccines are not applying them. And this is how we need to do a peer review or a peer check on each other. Subsequent to that, I also think that as part of the ongoing intervention, the poultry industry right now is collapsing. And there is a critical need for the sector to be heavily supported. We do know that the COVID and also the cost of feed have attributed to almost the collapse of about 600 to 800 poultry farms. And we know that the current situation also with regards to the disease is also attributing heavily to that. I mean, just in Greater Accra alone, we have over 200 poultry farms that have lost a lot of birds. So this can be the best situation for us. It has been in this light that we have been looking for or pushing for government to set up the Ghana Agriculture Pandemic Fund. If there was such a pandemic fund available, all these issues with regards to operational funds and access to farmers and how to also make sure that there are daily and frequent routine in terms of visiting of these farms and to make sure such challenges does not escalate.
Economist Professor Peter Korte is urging more investment in large-scale commercial farming to boost the agriculture sector. The sector led the first quarter growth rate of the country's economy, expanding by 5.6%. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Korte, who is also the Director of Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, said he's not surprised about the economic expansion of the agri sector, though the sector could have done better.
I'm not too surprised. It could have been better. It could have been better if we had inputs, we had fertilizers and other things. But I'm not too surprised because the effects of this Russian-Ukraine war started in 2022. I think people invest in agriculture prior to this war. So some of the output we are reaping in the first quarter of 2022 as a result of investment made earlier. But I must say that if it had not been this war, as well as COVID and other things that had affected cost of input, agri would have grown much faster than we are witnessing now.
And I guess what beats people is that we are not seeing that level of impact trickle to, let's say, the farmers and also translate in, for instance, the availability of food, because we've complained recently of shortages and of hikes in prices.
Yes, that is understandable because if you look at Ghana is not insulated. We don't live on an island. Look at the Sahel region. They have had, since last year, have had challenges with their weather, with the agricultural systems. Apart from Burkina Faso, most of the countries surrounding us, especially those in the Sahel region. So a lot of food gets moved out of Ghana to those regions. If you go to the north and undertake a survey, you'll find that a lot of the food we produce here gets exported to this country. So in as much as we are producing, the demand outstrip how much we are supplying. That's why we don't feel it here. They are prepared to pay higher prices People are, even despite the ban on the exportation of some food crops, people still smuggle them outside the country. So that's how come we are not feeling the impact of how much we are producing in terms of lower food prices. There is a lot of demand from our neighbors.
And does it also go to say that government's programs are working? For instance, the Planting for Food and Jobs program, the Agric Minister says he will score himself 100% for execution. We know that there are other people who have criticized the program and said it hasn't been that effective. What does it say about government's interventions in the sector?
Well, I think the interventions have been good, except to say that there is room for improvement. We have to support the value chain process. If you provide fertilizers, provide inputs, yet your warehouse system is not ready at the time, if you provide all of that and your roads are not good, you have not achieved the 100%. So I think it could have been better.
Parliament on Tuesday passed the long-awaited Standards Authority Bill, which seeks to regulate the standards of manufactured product from local and international sources. Director General for the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, says the passage will ensure the country avoids being used as a dumping ground for substandard goods. I spoke to him earlier today.
The passage of the Ghana Standards Authority Act, or the bill, into law this week on Tuesday by Parliament comes less than 2 months after the Cabinet of the Republic of Ghana had also approved Ghana's first ever national quality policy. The bill, as well as the policy, is keen to ensure that the quality of goods and services, I think we focus a lot on goods, but it's about ensuring that every process we use in Ghana, every product we either import, locally manufacture or supply, and every service offered in the Republic of Ghana, as by law established, meets international standards. Ghana, we all know our problems, and government is keen, and GSA is keen to lead the era of job creation and industrialization. And it starts with one thing: standards and quality. These are not just about the products. Indeed, our services, our mindsets, the way we approach everything has been given a renaissance by the passage of this bill, because as the Director General for the Ghana Standards Authority, the law empowers me to ensure that, one, Ghana has the best applicable and available international standards for its goods and services and processes. And that, two, these are enforced. And three, and super important, there are specified penalties for lack of enforcement. For us, this is a good day for Ghana, because it marks the beginning of our industry beginning to have a mindset that quality and standards will drive trade.
The economic challenges of Africa need a swift and innovative approach to avert hunger on the continent. This will require institutions like the African Trade Insurance Agency to implement measures that will fast-track an effective transformation. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said this when he addressed the opening ceremony at the 22nd Annual General Meeting of the agency in Accra. He said the hardship occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic and Russia invasion of Ukraine need a swift approach to take African economies out. Here is a report.
The 22nd Annual General Meeting of the shareholders and investors of the African Trade Insurance Agency is being attended by finance ministers and economists who play a key role on the continent's economic development. Serving as a risk-taking body for the continent in the past 20 years, the agency supports countries through interventions that ensure adequate financing for capital investment projects. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the meeting, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia stressed the need for a swift action to avert the looming crisis on the continent due to ongoing geopolitical issues.
Let me use this opportunity to urge ATI to be innovative and swift in delivering more of its solutions across the African continent to promote economic transformation. The uncertainty in the general macroeconomic environment and the pressures on all government budgets do not only indicate how delicate and unpredictable the world we live in now is, but also sound the need to continually come up with potential and innovative development ideas for sustainable growth, particularly in Africa. Africa must take charge of its own economic growth.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta remarked that Ghana has enjoyed many benefits from the agency, hence government commitment to the cost of the institution.
So far, I'm encouraged by the progress ATI has made here in Ghana since launching its Ghana operations in February 2020. The institution has been instrumental in enhancing our health sector capacity and quality, and also looking at government to see how best we can ensure that the papers we put in the market have the correct coverage. Additionally, ATI has offered targeted support towards addressing the balance of payment challenges and supporting our local currency. For us in government, we intend to continue our discussions with ATI on other transactions that support the achievement of objectives within Ghana's agenda.
The agency is using the meeting to assess its performance for last year and plan for the years ahead.
Manufacturing sector in Ghana is plagued by a number of challenges, from high taxes to competing with imported goods. But Vice President Dr. Bawumia says he has assured manufacturers that government is not oblivious to these challenges. He was speaking at the 25th anniversary of indigenous company Tropical Cable and Conductor Limited in Tema.
The journey of Tropical Cable and Conductor Limited, like many local businesses, has not been smooth sailing. The last 25 years of the company's operations have been fraught with numerous challenges despite positioning itself as a market leader in West Africa. Speaking at the event, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said government is committed to addressing these challenges through policies including local content and local participation regulations. He added that African Continental Free Trade Area is expected to have positive impact on local businesses.
The government of Ghana is well aware of these challenges that we all face in the manufacturing sector that have a particularly pronounced effect on this sector, including access to and cost of funding for growth, investment, the high cost of inputs, exposure to external shocks occurring thousands of miles away, and most importantly, the rampant competition from imported products. Government's policies, some of which I have touched on, are gradually transforming the business context in Ghana, and we will intensify their deployment to ensure that they are effective in establishing an environment where excellence and commitment can thrive.
Deputy Energy Minister William Ureku Edu also revealed that the ministry is working with other stakeholders to introduce discounted industrial tariff.
Your Excellency, the Ministry of Energy appreciates the challenge business people are facing with regard to electricity tariffs. This is in particular reference to industrial tariff, which becomes prohibitive after 600 units. As a ministry, we are in constant discussions regarding the current structure of the tariff to address some of its adverse impact on industries like yours. We are also working with multiple stakeholders and the regulator to introduce a discounted industrial tariff. At the appropriate time, we shall communicate the outcome to you.
Managing Director of Tropical Cable, Martin Mensah, highlighted some of the challenges facing the company.
Your Excellency, we struggle to compete with imports because of the high rates and number of duties and levies that we pay on raw materials, which we still have to import. a situation made more challenging by the benchmark value regime, which did not differentiate sufficiently between manufacturers and importers or traders. In addition, Ghana has one of the most comprehensive local content frameworks. But this is unable to deliver the intended benefits because even entities undertaking major government projects persist in the importation of cables and conductors, which we have more than enough capacity to manufacture here.
That's how we end business here, but we have more business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Up next.